Thoughts on Sean Gunn being cast as Maxwell Lord in the DCU. Do you think James Gunn casting his family, friends, and everything is lazy casting? Well, I'll start with the second question there. Is it lazy casting? No. I mean, directors do this all the time. How many movies has Scorsese cast Robert De Niro in? I mean, there was a long period of time, Robert De Niro showing up in every single one of these movies, even in ones where it's not the most obvious that you would cast him. How many times has he cast Leonardo DiCaprio? How many Nolan films have Michael Caine in them? And directors do this all the time where there's people that they have a rapport with, and so they want to recast them. And just stop and think about it with, if you compare it to like any other job, it starts to make more sense. Part of the working process is that there's people that you understand how they work, their groove, their rhythm. You complement each other. Sometimes you don't complement each other, and so you hopefully get on different teams or whatever. But different people are better. They have better creative rhythms. They have a better workflow that complements one another than other people. So as you discover who that is for you, that you're able to get the best out of them and they get the best out of you, you want to work with them more at your job. Now stop and think of the way the movies work. The director's kind of like the CEO of a company, and every movie he has to hire an entirely new staff. So that when you think about it in those terms, you go, yeah, naturally a director's wants to get as many people that he knows what they can do. He knows how to work with them. They know how to work with him. And so in that regard, it's not lazy casting to hire someone that you know how to work with. Like at your job, wherever you work, we do this all the time and we take it for granted. But in the world of acting, in the world of movies, we kind of, it seems a little bit different. Like, why do they keep casting the same people? For the same reason that you keep working with the same coworkers that you like to work with. It's their job. Or if you're just in grade school, there's certain people when you're put in a group with them, you cringe, you roll your eyes, you're furious. And there's certain people that you actually work well together and your skill sets complement one another. It's the same exact thing with movies. And that's why Christopher Nolan will work with the same composer. Spielberg keeps working with John Williams. Tim Burton kept working with Danny Elfman because they're in sync. They have a rhythm with what they're doing. Why do they work with the same cinematographer? Why do you work with the same set designer? It's all that. You work well together. You know that they will deliver what you want. So I don't think it's lazy casting. I think some of them are more distracting than others. And some of it with James Gunn, it's like he's stunt casting his friends and family. That's the stuff that I find distracting. Guardians 3 had a little bit of that, where we go to the space station and out of the blue, Nathan Fillion is standing there. And he's only in the movie because he's friends with James Gunn. And then you could turn another corner and his wife is standing there. And the only reason she's there is because she's married to him. And the parts themselves are only memorable because you went, oh, it's James Cameron's friend or family. That's the stuff that I find distracting. If you give someone a real part that someone you trust, that you work well with, I don't have a problem with that, but it's the stunt casting more so. So, to the other question in here, thoughts on Sean Gunn being cast as Maxwell Lord in the DCU, I believe specifically for Superman Legacy. My immediate concern is how many characters are in this movie. Like, how stuffed is this movie? Because Nathan Fillion, talking about his friends and family, is already a Green Lantern. We've got a Lex Luthor, and there's all these other characters, supposedly the teams, the Authority, like all of these connections to other characters, next stories. So it's a very populated DC universe from the very beginning. And you start going, how do we fit all these characters in there? And so is Maxwell Lord just a guy that's on TV for a little cameo? Was that stunt? Is that stunt casting I'm talking about where, well, of course I'm going to put my brother in the movie. And so there he is. Ta-da! Like, that's the stuff that's distracting. Like the fact that Sean Gunn is multiple parts in Guardians. He's, of course, Kraglin, the character that we recognize that's a real character, but he's also on set Rocket Raccoon. So you've got a person willing to crouch down in a ball for 10 years playing Rocket Raccoon on set in a silly looking suit. because he's working for his brother. And so there's a great thing that comes of that. But if we're just like cut to his brother on a news broadcast for 30 seconds, like, hey, look, it's Maxwell Lord. It's also Sean Gunn. That's distracting. So I need to know more about the size of the role. And there's a lot of things like that. But when you think Maxwell Lord, the natural character that comes to mind isn't the usual Sean Gunn character. Sean Gunn is maybe it's because I watched him on Gilmore Girls for 7 seasons, but he's kind of has like goofiness, a silliness to him. That's what Kraglin kind of is. And that energy isn't what you assign to Maxwell Lord. So when I see that he's playing Maxwell Lord, I just don't see it. And likewise, because we have all these other characters, I'm guessing that it's going to be a fairly limited part in the film. In which case, then to my other point of, if it's just kind of distracting stunt casting for a small part, I'm not crazy about it. Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.